Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today, I am going to continue from the last episode of the article God Market written by Vikas Gora, Atheist Center, India. Blind followers. The government industry has always targeted the wealthy Indians, IT professionals, foreigners, to name a few. They have always enjoyed the clout of the politicians and the business communities. Fear is the root of religion, and superstitions help to sustain that fear. The target of the government is to ensure that the superstitions and ignorance of the people continue. The selectively ignorant followers, who otherwise are highly educated and successful doctors, lawyers, scientists, professors, businessmen, lawyers, politicians, movie stars, etc., become the defenders of government. Any opposition or investigation against the government is challenged by the blind followers. The photos of the godmen start finding a place in the prayer rooms of a house next to the traditional gods. However, these self-proclaimed gods tend to get their photos tailored to blend into the way the traditional gods look like. This is the god market, and advertising plays an important part. Somehow, godmen occupy an exalted place in the minds of the Indian public, though many of them have been exposed as charlatans. Perhaps no other major society in the world has such a variety of outlandish and thriving swamis, gurus, yogis, babas, acharyas, bhagavans, astrologers, palmists, numerologists, faith healers as India does. Frauds or not, while India moves ahead technologically and economically at a rapid pace, the Indian public somehow also remains transfixed by the sight of a bearded and saffron-robed man who belongs to the Middle Ages. The rest of the world can only look on at this paradox in wonder and smile. For the Indian government, however, it is no laughing matter, says Rahul Singh, former editor of the Reader's Digest and the Indian Express. Flesh trade. Godmen, who were once roaming on the streets singing the glory of their own gods, are now living a luxurious life and have the potential to hide everything under the guise of spiritual powers. Some of the activities that are evident are the flesh trade and rapes happening in the ashrams. These New Age gods live a secret life which involves dark world of free sex and an unimaginable amount of unaccounted money, often stashed in ashrams, spiritual centers, or unknown destinations. All sorts of illegal activities that take place in the guise of an ashram environment. Godmen take tremendous liberties with their disciples, right from sexual favors, money, gifts, and many more. The women disciples who are molested or raped are said that such sexual acts need to be considered as a gift from God, and they are lucky to be the chosen ones. The case of Nityananda Swami, who later was known as Sex Guru, was caught in a sex scandal involving an actress. There are umpteen such cases of godmen exploiting women. Some women are silenced, whereas others brave to file a police complaint. There are many cases in India wherein godmen were arrested for molesting and raping. Why should a person who claims to be closer to God and consider himself or herself as above human try to gain earthly pleasures? This in itself reveals that the acts of abuse, money laundering, and corruption are a free ticket for the so-called pious, saffron-attired godmen and spiritualists. Political favoritism. Godmen and spiritualists in India, right from a small town to internationally renowned, have always enjoyed the patronage of the politicians and the businessmen who try to use their clout to mold public opinion in their favor. Right from demanding privileges to political favoritism, these people try to gain mileage from their connections. Taking the case of Shankaracharya of Kanchi, Jayendra Saraswati was granted special permission by the government of India to exempt him from physical security checks for medical grounds. There are many old people who travel by air, and they have now complied with the security checks, but not the self-proclaimed godmen and spiritual gurus. The government should not extend any such privileges to these charlatans. The recent movement against corruption by Anna Hazare suddenly attracted the attention of the self-proclaimed godmen and spiritualists such as Sri Sri Ravi Shankar and Baba Ramdev, to name a few. This helped them to come to the limelight. Why such godmen rush when the issue of corruption is being discussed nationally? Every godman and spiritualist enjoy and amass huge wealth and claim that the followers give them the wealth and wanted them to be like that. This is also corruption, as it leads to making money by claiming to be a god, spreading ignorance and blind beliefs, and corrupting the minds of people. Mere talk about corruption will not help. It needs to be followed by action to curb corruption, which the godmen, godwomen do not do. They fear that the anti-corruption movement will target them as well. Amassing wealth in the name of charity. The Babas godmen are responsible for the downfall of values in the voluntary sector, with all of them starting their own trusts and NGOs, which amount to millions of dollars, blurs the core values, ethics, and principles of civil society. For the godmen, godwomen, spiritualists, etc., social service is a tear wash. With the amount of money they amass running charity works demonstrates that it is to please the world and to gain greater mileage and sympathy to their work, through which the devotee numbers increase and foreign funds will flow. Hardly do we see any such organizations blacklisted under the Regulation Acts, as they have access to both power and muscles to stand by their side. Speaking gods versus frozen gods. For ages, human beings worshipped gods whose idols were carved and photographs were displayed. Humans performed idol worship and worship of nature. These gods never spoke a word, but all the talking was done by humans. The present age has seen the rise of godmen, godwomen who proclaim themselves to be the reincarnation of gods. They exist in almost all the states in India. A cheerful, peppy talk in alignment with the psychological condition of the person by the divine godmen is surely a stress buster for many people these days. For some, it is a relief that some larger-than-life image is there to protect them, and for some, it is just an unknown, unexplainable journey of discovering a spiritual guru. That's India, exploited by scores of godmen, godwomen, spiritualists, and charlatans. Media and their relationship. The Indian media always maintained a love and a hate relationship with godmen. Media, especially TV channels, give prime time to spread ignorance through self-proclaimed godmen and godwomen who gave them the money to buy the prime time or get sponsored for it. The same media which helped in advertising for the godmen and build their image tends to expose them as well. This relationship between media and godmen is detrimental to the overall progress of the country and for strengthening scientific temper. Media is a powerful tool to build knowledge, spirit of inquiry, and give exposure to the young minds so that they could be rational citizens of the country. It should not be promoting ignorance and blind faith. Governments also encourage blind faith and in spreading ignorance, as they give license to godmen to start their own channels and media houses. As the world is progressing, media has greater outreach, and if misused, it will be detrimental to the development of this society. And here ends the article on God Market written by Vikas Gora, Atheist Center, India. We'll meet again with another article in next episode again. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to this channel Positive Atheism and activate the bell icon. Please download Samaram multi-channel app and watch your favorite channels from your mobile. App available on Google Play Store and subscribe to the channels.